quick reminder, Saturday, the 9th of May, that is when we're starting the training for pmradio.org. 16 hours of training. We're going to be going through all of those pesky areas that people complain about on their PMP exam. Schedule, cost, scope, quality, risk. We're going to be taking a look at all that stuff. So today we're going further into our journey into the area of quality management data flows. We took a look at some quality data flows last time, and we realized that if a deliverable is rejected in quality control, then something needs to happen to move further along. And we stopped at the point where an approved change request became an input back into direct and managed project work and also into control quality. Now let's take a look at what unfolds after that. I call this events leading up to defect discovery and verified deliverable rejection in validate scope. So as usual, we start off with direct and managed project work. You guys already know that from here we could get deliverables, but don't forget, as you are creating the deliverables, you should also be checking the process. We call that manage quality. That is where you are checking the process, not the product. The product is not done yet. Remember, this is where the product comes from. This is where we check the process, not the product. At the end of the day, we're going to have deliverables coming out of direct and managed project work. Deliverables will then become an input to control quality. This is where the lady on the conveyor belt was checking to make sure that things were going according to plan. Now, as she checks this time, she will realize that a verified deliverable is the result. What is a verified deliverable? A verified deliverable means that it has been checked and it has been approved by the performing organization, by the people who are working the contract or the project for the customer. In other words, this thing right here is for the customer. It is going to go to the customer, but it signifies that we don't just have a deliverable anymore. A deliverable is the raw form of whatever you've done, unchecked. But when we say verified deliverable, it means it has gone through quality control. Verified means it has gone through quality control. So we cannot say it is a verified deliverable until it's gone through quality control, okay? So we get a verified deliverable, and this then goes to the customer in validate scope. In validate scope, this is where the customer will check the deliverable. Now we can see the deliverable in this case, it's a kite. But the question is, will the customer approve that verified deliverable? In other words, will they accept it? Will they say, great job, it is ready for you to transfer to us, to me, to my team, to the end users? If the answer is yes, then we will call it something else. If the answer is no, then we will get a change request again. So what happens? It seems as though the customer just rejected that verified deliverable, and we're getting a change request. Oh dear, back to square one. Now this change request that we're getting is going up to none other than Perform Integrated Change Control, and this is where the Change Control Board is going to take a look at the change request, or maybe it's just the project manager and the sponsor. This is a totally different story up here because it really depends on the project. Sometimes there's a change control board, other times there's none. Other times it's the sponsor. Other times it's the project manager in isolation of everyone else. It depends on how much power the project manager has been given. So when you get ready for your exam, my friends, it is very important that as you read your PMBOK guide, pay close attention to this process, because I know a lot of people think, oh, change control board, change control board. No, the change control board is not always on the scene. Sometimes you don't have a change control board. Sometimes it's the project manager only. Sometimes it's the project manager and the sponsor that decide upon change requests. Other times it depends on the nature of the change request. So don't just blindly say, oh, change control board, change control board. Sometimes there ain't no change control board. And many times you have situational conditions in which it could be the project manager today, tomorrow it could be the change control board, the next day it could be the sponsor, the next day it could be the customer. Sometimes the customer and the sponsor are not even in the change control board. So there are different loops of possibilities, and these are the things that I teach you in the training. That's why go to pmradio.org. I know I've got a fantastic plethora of videos, a collection of all sorts of videos, thousands of videos. But my friends, there's nothing like coming to my training. I will boot you into shape. That's why I'm telling you, go to pmradio.org. Sign up. We got training starting on the 9th, 16th, 23rd, 30th. What are you waiting for? Anyway, enough of that. The change control board, they'll take a look at the change request, and then you get an approved change request because they realize, oh, the customer is right. There is something wrong. Let's rework it. So again, you get approved change requests, go into direct and manage project work, and you also have the approved change requests going into control quality. But there is an important loop I want to call the attention to. And that loop is from control quality going back into manage quality. You ask, what is that? It is quality control measurements. Why do we need this? Because if we got this wrong, right? If we got the deliverable wrong, we want to find out why did that happen, whatever it is. And the way we find out is from quality control measurements. These measurements need to go back into manage quality where you investigate. Why do we get this? Why are the measurements so off? It must be as a result of one of our processes. Definitely we missed it somewhere. This is how you need to be thinking, the interconnectedness. And that's why I tell people, look, if you're getting ready for the CAPM exam, thinking linearly is not bad because that's how the PMBOK guide is presented. It's linear. But if you're taking the PMP exam, linear thinking is not enough. In fact, it's a pedestrian way of presenting the information. A lot of people just read in a pedestrian fashion, oh, process 1, process 2. That will not help you. By the time the PMI hit you with a crazy question, multiplicity of dimensions, what are you going to do? That's why you need to cover your bases and know the interconnectedness. And you should be able to think. You should be able to think about the possibilities surrounding the 49 processes. I just laugh when I see people studying, oh, process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Process group and knowledge area are important, but what if it defies both? There are things that defy process group and knowledge area. Let me give you an example. Pre-assignment. When does it happen? Does it happen in integration? Integration, the very first of the processes, of the knowledge areas rather, and it has the first process. But does pre-assignment happen in integration? No. When does it happen? Resource management. Now, if you think about a timeline, a lot of people say, oh, integration is the first because develop project charter. Okay. But do you know that pre-assignment happens before develop project charter? So I just laugh. You know, someone said, Phill, please draw out all the 49 processes and how each one happens. I'm just like, sorry, but you haven't got what happens. It's on page 555 in the PMBOK guide. Go open page 555 and talk to me when you've taken a look at that. And by the time they look at page 555, they're like, oh, I see. Exactly. So when I go to companies to train this stuff, the problem, there we go, with Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. My battery's running low. But when I go to companies, people say, Phill, these things do not happen like this in the real world. They're all over the place. So is this more like a fairy tale? And I tell them, PMI needed to take a line of best fit, present the information to you, but this is not how it always happens in the real world. Now I got to turn off my computer before Bill and the folks at Microsoft delete this file through what they've built in. I will lose this video if I don't stop. But it's been nice talking to you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.